joke about sexism, but
Oh yeah.
it was, yeah, it kind of, I felt like it just, I was like, I don't need to hear this again. I don't need to, please don't tell
Oh
me about the cage
no.
anymore.
Why is it
Yeah.
being weird?
I
Oh,
don't know.
what did you do? Did that fix it?
Oh, sorry.
No, it's not nothing. Every time. Every time it changes. Every time.
Oh, we're live.
Yeah, and I realized after I went live that something is wonky with my OBS.
Oh.
I totally understand.
Did I fix it? Now we're really low, and you can also see the line where our thing
Yeah.
is. Maybe I can fix it here. Hold on. No, that's not doing it. Bigger. Hi everybody, we're doing this live.
Just testing.
I'm figuring this out. How do I get rid of you? That's annoying.
I will say, back to Borat, Scott was watching it while I was just playing WoW, so I wasn't paying super attention. I think the only part I got up was to see the Rudolph Giuliani part. And I'm like, oh, okay, it played out exactly like I figured it did, and I'm like, okay, yeah, I mean, it could be either or whatevs, but,
Yeah. Haha, you got him. You know,
I mean,
but I
worst
mean,
case, it's good advertisement for your crappy movie.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like that was obviously like, a
Okay.
thing to get people to.
Yeah.
Did I fix it? Is it fixed? Sort
Uh,
of. Kind of.
Possibly? Maybe?
Possibly. How can I move you, Mr. Line? I don't think so. Nope, that's not right.
Oh, the line is still,
I
yeah, at the very top.
Yep. Hold on. I got it.
don't.
Eh.
We're
That
trying.
almost looks like it's intended. Like it's
But I don't like
nice
it.
little.
It's
Yeah, it's not
fine.
like it's the line in the middle of the screen,
It'll be fine. It's
the outer
there.
limits line.
Yeah. Jesus. All right.
It does look like you went offline. That you probably know.
What? I did not go offline. Did you stop
Oh,
streaming? No, you didn't.
No?
I have an error message, but maybe that's just the video you're done with.
Go to
Let me just.
channel.
I'm gonna. It's probably me. I don't need
Okay.
to give you any more things to worry about. I get it. No, no, no. It was me. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Now I need to go back to here and pull this way so that you are not being cut off. There we go. Okay.
Oh, you don't need to give me all this room. I feel like I have. You can just.
I
Our special guest.
would love to have us all be equal. I have no idea how to do that.
I understand.
I
Totally
can't
understand.
even. Nope, not that way. Oh, maybe that way. Hold on. Hold on.
Aw, Sully's in the background.
Yep.
Well,
Okay.
I knew. Oh.
It's
Well, I knew you guys just kind of needed or wanted an extra body for October, but in the future, like I'd be happy to. Um, do, I got XSplit down, and again, you have to pay for it, but it's so super easy.
mm-hmm.
So if you ever need that in the future,
I don't know. I think I
Okay.
have I figured my have I figured my shit out?
It looks...
Cut this
okay.
cut this all out, Ember.
oh no, she's gonna have to.
Yeah,
Do
yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay.
We'll have a few minutes of silence before we do the proper
Yep. Oh,
intro. It'll be
no.
fine.
Now it's too far.
Yeah,
Cool.
what I do is I like in my podcast right when it's go time, I just do this, so I don't have to listen to my ugly voice until I like, and then I could just scroll across and see where I'm doing this, and then I know to start.
That's what Scott does too. He's like, Giant X!
I got it. Now, don't touch it. Okay, there we go. We are good. Hey, everybody. As you can tell, I don't do this or if I do, I'm used to my streams being my hands. Okay, I crochet.
I mean, well, also, can you see okay?
Did I mess up my makeup? Okay. Okay. We should be should be good to go. Hopefully.
Okay. Everything looks good.
Yep. Nope. Don't minimize that. You need that. There we go. That's what I need. And we'll give it a couple of moments of silence for my editing skills and for Ember. Hello and welcome to episode 174 of Geek Grills. The Geek Grills podcast is supported primarily by our patrons. You can find us at patreon.com/grills. I'm Linda and I'm joined by my co-host Ray.
Hello.
And our special co-host Jackie.
Hey, I'm special. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for having me back.
Of course.
Absolutely.
I thought from last week you'd be like, oh boy.
No.
So today's topic, we are doing our favorite monsters. For those of us who are joining us live, we have a little bit of makeup going on. You know, some stuff. I have Ray's all vampy. I've got the blacklight contact lenses, so and we have a kitten puppet.
Yes.
My costume.
So I will probably be intermittently playing with the blacklight flashlight because I'm a 2-year-old. So now
Really cool.
So before we get into our topic this week, what have y'all been up to?
Alright. Yeah, I can go first. So I decided
Ray?
to find yeah?
Pull your mic a little bit away from your mouth.
Like that?
Yeah, you're a little loud.
I'm always loud.
It's okay.
But yeah, no, I decided to finally get around to making some bath bombs, which I did on a day that it was raining. So, if you don't know anything about making bath bombs, humidity is the devil. So I tried to bake them to save them, which is why they look okay. But they have so many pock marks from where they baked, and that one just crumbled in my hand. So,
So what exactly are they? Because I'm not sure. Like, are they just something you put in the bath and then it like releases some kind of nice smell?
yeah. So bath bombs usually they have like an essential oil and some like shea butter cream or something in them. So you release it, and the mixture of the water with the baking soda causes it to spin and fizz and releases color and food grade glitter and all this stuff. I just wanted bubbles with mine, and I like Lush a lot, but they have separate bubble bars, and I'm like, no, I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna combine them. So I made my own bubble bath, which was a success, which is actually super easy, by the way, especially if you want to make sure you don't have sulfates. You just won't have really big bubbles. And that's important for people with sensitive skin, which isn't me, but I wanted to use this as a base, so I tried to make everything for sensitive skin just in case. So bubble bath is super easy and done, and then you mix that with all the stuff for your bath salts, but it was way too humid because it was raining. So I have instead broken them down, so I have bath salts.
Oh no! Oh, bath salts.
It's
I know that just makes me panic a little bit because I'm currently in Florida, so
oh,
don't say bath salts.
not Florida bath salts. Yes, relaxing bath salts, not eat a person's face bath salts.
You guys did hear about the guy who like tried to eat someone's face off.
Yes.
Yep.
In Florida.
Yep.
Like, that was in Miami, and I was in Fort Lauderdale that night, and I ran into a lot of drama that I won't go into on that same night. And I thought, of course, a guy tried to eat someone's face. Anyway, sorry. It
Oof.
kind of with the theme of monsters, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for our live viewers that I just did a whole bunch of stuff to Discord and didn't remember that you guys can see my Discord, so whoops. Sorry about that. You're still a little loud, Ray. I thought it might be my end, so I was gonna try and turn the volume down, but I can't find it. So
Let me see if I can fuss with myself here.
sorry,
Not in a weird way, just in a.
sorry, Ember. Cut this part out.
All right. I usually. Oh, I bet it's because I had to up it when I played Among Us, which I also did. How is that?
It's a little better.
Do you need me to go lower?
Just like a smidgen.
One smidgen. Good?
Better, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had it maxed for Among Us, so that's probably why I was blowing everything out.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, I gotta do Among Us with our Sus Squad group, is what we call ourselves. We had a little Friday get together, and that was fun. And then I did a cosplay of Punchline, who's the Joker's new partner? Question mark? We still don't know exactly. Basically, it's his Harley replacement, and I like her because I haven't been able to get to read any of the comics, so I'm watching as Casually Comics. Sasha reads them on her YouTube channel, and I'm just like eagerly awaiting each episode so I can learn more about Punchline. But apparently, the last issue, she like has her glasses on, her hair down, no weird makeup. She's like, "Oh, I was just a girl that was caught up in the insanity of the Joker. Oh, woe is me! I'm so sorry for all the trouble I caused. I've seen my way." I'm like, "Oh, please, please, please be playing this. You have to be playing this. That is how this has to go, and you'll be my favorite." Also, her glasses look a lot like mine, so that made me happy. And you can see that picture on my Instagram if you care. And then I finally hooked up streaming after fussing with it and having to redo stuff and learning that you don't have free widgets from OBS anymore or themes.
Yeah.
Surprise! Why did I delete all those? Surprise! But I did get a stream of Monster Prom 2 going, and that was super fun. And Ellie was wonderful and came by and was teasing me while I was doing it. And of course, more WoW. That's me.
What about you, Jackie?
Jackie?
Well, it's so funny that it's been a week since we last met, and anything. I've slept a lot. No. I've done a few things, but like definitely been playing a lot of like Among Us with some friends, and then I was talking earlier in the pre-show that like about Among Us is that I don't know, like, well, maybe I didn't say this, but I log into Steam, or my Steam is open, and then I get these notifications that people that I was friends with back in 2012 are playing, and I was like, oh, everybody's playing Among Us without me, and I just feel like that, and I don't know, so I'm totally addicted to playing that game, and but also I finally got like I'm trying to work on this claymation thing that I told you about. I finally got all my clay products together, and I've really discovered, at least very recently, that that Play-Doh is not your friend. I wanted to do specifically Play-Doh because this is something I kind of want to do with my my 4-year-old niece. She wants to do live stream Play-Doh things with, and so I created this project that's kind of based off the old idea of Mr. Bill from Saturday Night Live, where
Yes.
he dies in crazy ways and you smash him. So I
Also
have
used in
these.
Pizza Hut commercials.
Oh, okay. And
Remember that.
so, anyways, that's pretty much it. That and I don't know, just like sleeping crazy hours and wanting to get past this whole COVID thing, and you know, like the rest of us. So, what about you, Linda?
I have completed another crewmate.
Yay!
This time in black.
Oh, I was telling my friends on Friday or Saturday about it, and I was like, everyone needs to go contact Linda and commission one of those because they were so excited.
Yeah,
Sorry,
because
go ahead.
I will say I probably won't be listing these guys on my website just because the developers have been like, please, we're trying to get our own merch started. And I understand that, like, it's really hard when you're a small company. So, like, if people commission me for them, I'll make them, but I'm not going to be, like, putting them out on the website. I may post pictures up. Like, I posted some on Instagram, but I don't have them actually, like, listed. But I've done a thing where I have weighted the feet. So if you balance him right, he stands up on his own. So
Aww.
I'm very pleased with that.
That is so cool. So cool.
Oh, I didn't write this one down, but my mask from Ember came. I'm so happy. It's got little Hufflepuffs on it. So I just gotta like wash it and let it dry and such. And then for my making portion, it's hard to see a little bit, but I've completed kind of the background of my Nightmare Before Christmas scene. So it's got the little hill and the big moon. I'm contemplating making the moon a darker color just because the hill and the moon, if you have them out here, are kind of like blending together. I don't know. I have to see what it looks like when I get the characters put on there.
Okay.
How the heck can you do all of that?
What?
So did you do that in 1 week? Because like I said, I barely made it to, get ice for my beverage.
She's magic. Like, she just always just manifests these things after a while.
You're amazing.
Thank you. I just like, I don't know. I have a space for it at my craft room, and when I go in there, I'm like, well, time to pick up something. I did a lot of tiny things also this weekend. Like I tidied in there, and I found some little tiny projects that I had just been putting off, and I was just like, just get it done. Just do it. Just get it done and out of the way. And I have been writing, kind of, I guess, warming up for NaNoWriMo. I don't have like a big planned thing. I'm just like, I'm usually a planner where I'll have like an outline and bullet points, but I'm like, for this year, I'm just like, well, just sit down and write something. It's gonna be weird.
Every November, I get those emails, and they just put me to shame. I'm like, yeah, I'll start. I'll get it done, and then I don't do it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just like it's good for me because otherwise I like put things off. I find that if I have a deadline, it's better for me because my brain is like, okay, you have to do this thing by this time. If I'm just like, yeah, whatever, I'll do it whenever, then I just keep pushing it off.
Yep.
I apologize for constantly interjecting, but what is, I'm very, very curious. What is your method when you are working, either where you're crafting or writing? Writing for me is harder. Like I need something on in the background, and sometimes it's music, but just something to like allow me to focus. But then if it's too distracting, then I can't focus. And so what do you like crafting for me? I could watch like movies on Netflix.
Oh yeah, so when I'm like crocheting, and my husband just drives him crazy, but I'll put on either a series or like a YouTuber video that I've seen 1,000 times. Like I've watched Markiplier play Alien Isolation probably 20 times. because I'll put it on the background and it just goes, because it's like hour-long episodes and there's like 16 of them. And I can just crochet to that because it's funny, and I can look over and be like, oh, haha, I remember that. But then if I go back to counting, because if it's something I've never seen before, I have to put all of my focus into watching it or I'm going to miss stuff. So I cannot watch new things while I am crafting. And I know that about myself.
I agree. Like, Breaking Bad for me has been my thing, but I've now watched Breaking Bad all the way through at least 10 times. And I can't do it anymore.
But when it comes to writing, I put on music. Because if I have on a YouTube video where someone is talking or they're playing a game, I'll get distracted because in my writing headspace, I have to be thinking of sentences and how to phrase them and what a better turn of phrase would be than what I have, and tenses.
Gotcha. You know, honestly, you should teach a course on how to focus and get stuff done because, like I said, I feel so bad that this week I've done absolutely nothing. And, by the way, I would love to continue coming back on your show because I feel like it's motivation to do something and actually get out of bed right now. So.
I mean, I definitely have noticed that, like, when we have the weekly thing, it's like, Ember and Ray are like, what do you have this week? And I'm like, well, I feel like I have to have something.
Yep, definitely.
Good.
So, tangent, but a helpful tangent.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Now we shall move on to our discussion topic, which is favorite monsters. I believe we have each picked one. This is a little different than our favorite magical creatures a few weeks ago. So who wants to go first?
I guess I'll go ahead since I always wait for you guys to toss it to me. So, but I'll just, okay. Obviously, for me, always since I was a little girl, love witches. Absolutely love witches. And now that, like, my 4-year-old niece is, why do I keep talking about her? It's so weird. She's so into the Wizard of Oz right now, and she can sing all the songs. It's so amazing. And but I remember when I was a little girl, like, I think that was like really the first time I kind of, other than Snow White, that was like the first time I realized what the witches thing was, and there was a good witch. You could be a good witch, and I thought that was funny. But aside from that, like, another thing I want to point out really quickly is about monsters is and we can jump back to witches if either one of you have comments about that, but witches also have cats, and cats have been, like, demonized as monsters a lot. And I mean, to the point where, I know people, I have friends that like that don't like their dog, people that absolutely don't like cats, and I just can't understand somebody who doesn't like a cat. Cats are amazing creatures, and it's because wasn't there like was it a Spielberg movie about a cat, or maybe that was Pet Sematary I'm thinking of, but there's horror movies about cats. You never see a horror movie about a dog, right?
Except
Cujo.
Well, there is Cujo, but
yeah, there's a lot more cat themed.
And then whatever that was, God, what was it? I can't remember the name of the movie, but it was about, like, things, they figured out a way to resurrect things, and the first thing they resurrected was a dog, and it went real bad.
Oh.
I can't.
It sounds like Pet Sematary.
No, it's not Pet Sematary. It was like a sci-fi movie.
Okay.
Like, it was a science fiction movie, and, like, or pseudo science fiction, because, like, it turned out when they resurrected them, there was like a demon in them or something. I don't know. We watched it over at Gina's house. I wasn't paying too much attention. I was doing something else.
The appeal is that like this pet that lives in your house that sleeps on your bed.
Mhm.
That's sometimes like my cats used to like sleep on my face.
Mhm.
And I'd wake up and I'm like, oh, I gotta breathe. Please.
Well, there's a very, very long tradition of cats in particular, but all those sorts of animals being seen as a witch's familiar, and that had very specific connotations back in the day, because a familiar was this demonic creature that went and did the witch's bidding, and of course, what's scarier or spookier than like a black cat or a black dog suddenly appearing out of the darkness and staring at you with the glowy predator's eyes, and
Oh,
I don't.
glowy predators.
Yeah,
eyes.
glowy predator's eyes. Hold on, I got it. Wing.
There you go.
I get, like, I don't agree obviously with that kind of thinking, but if you walk around in an old forest or a forest in general, like coming from people who LARP, who have had to walk outside to a bathhouse in the middle of the night, if you have something that like skitters across your path like a raccoon, damn it, Tito, and you were not expecting it, and you're like, I understand where the superstitious kind of folks that that lived back then, when they didn't have any rational explanation except for witchcraft.
Right.
I understand where they would be very fearful, but yeah, you do have that like connotation between witch and black cat, especially for like being the familiars of these women who consorted with the devil for powers.
Wait, don't you just mean women who read?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I can't believe I didn't even like think about like the whole like Salem witch trial type period of history.
Mhm.
That women had to go through that.
What I find
That
if you
actually is more horrifying.
yeah, it is. If you want to listen to a podcast that will make you angry at people that died 300 years ago, listen to the first season of Unobscured. It's a deep dive into the Salem witch trials. And he puts together the story and the background and like all of these facts about what was going on, and you're just sitting there going, I want to murder these people.
This is a podcast?
It's a podcast, yeah. There's 3 seasons. The third one is in production, is going on now. The first season is a deep dive into the Salem witch trials. The second season is a deep dive into spiritualism, specifically in the Americas. In North America, I should say. And the third season, which is going on now, is a deep dive into Jack the Ripper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm so in.
Yeah. The third season will make you angry at people that died 100 years ago. But yeah, those are. I agree that with witches, because like, yeah, there's a lot of things showing them being kind of the monstrous things, especially in Hollywood. There's a lot of.
Yes.
But you also have the other side of it, which are the the good witches and such. I will say that my first foray into watching anything really that I kind of understood to be a witch was The Witches. That movie where everybody gets turned into mice or pictures. That scared the crap out of me as a child.
Oh, Roald Dahl.
Oh, Roald Dahl.
Terrifying children.
I am not familiar and I feel dumb. I gotta go check this out.
Yeah.
Well, they just HBO Max just got a new version of it.
Yeah, but the older
I've heard
version.
the original is better, and the books are fun. Like, I love Roald Dahl's books.
Yeah.
They're just
It is.
children's-esque.
If you look up The Witches, it's The Witches, and it's 1990.
Okay.
It's got Angelica Houston in it. Is that her name? Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe I see that.
But yeah, no, I definitely remember that. I always liked witches. Like Halloween's always my favorite, so it's a lot of like vampires and witches and werewolves and
Mm-hmm.
many costumes of pirates,
Yeah, many costumes of pirates.
fortune tellers, and vampires.
So speaking of, do you want to start going into your favorite
Yeah,
monster?
no. So what I always liked about vampires was I think I learned like I just connected, or like maybe I picked up a book about vampires before I picked up one about witches. Like I distinctly remember going to the library and like checking out every book I could on like vampires and werewolves, and some of them were old and had like recipes in them that should not have been in them. Like how to become a werewolf recipe. Like, oh, okay. So I get some belladonna and I rub it in an ointment all over my skin, and like my mom was looking through this and she's like, "Do not try any of these." Like I'm not dumb, Mom. I'm 10, but I'm not that dumb. Maybe a little dumb. but, but I distinctly remember I always liked the vampire ones. Dracula was like one of the first classic novels I read. I think it was like 5th or 6th grade. It was more of a slog than I thought it would be, just because of how it was longer than I thought.
Also,
It's very
written in the Victorian times.
yes, it's just very stuffy
Yes.
to read. But I always liked them. I thought it was cool.
The Victorian era.
You're this creature of power that people can't resist, and you get to turn into bats and wolves and run around and chase down prey. All those people who are mean to you. Look, I was in elementary school and not very popular. There might have been some revenge fantasy connected with vampires in my head. I'm not gonna lie.
The Edwardian period too was pretty bad.
Yep.
Mean stuffy.
But yeah, no, I just always found it really interesting. And there's like lots of weird little things about vampires, like you would dig up the grave and it wouldn't be decomposed, thus proving they're a vampire. But depending on how the body was treated and how well it was sealed, it might not have decayed yet.
Yeah, like
But the rationalization people would come up with to prove there was truly a vampire cursing the cows that would make spoiled milk, as opposed to maybe they got spooked by the wolves over there. Not that the wolves are people coming to suck your blood, just wolves, regular scary wolves.
yeah, there was the one that was like the one that kind of started I don't want to call it a vampire panic because it wasn't, but the one that was like, yeah, this is the case study of the early America's like vampire scare, because we had one. If you look it up,
Really?
yeah,
In the United States?
it was like I want to. It was up in New England. I want to say.
18th century vampire controversy.
Yes. Was I think her name was Mercy Brown? No, was it Mercy Brown? I can't remember if that was who it was, but basically they thought that she died. Well, they didn't think she died, but she died of like consumption, and they thought she was coming back to feed off of her living relatives, and they went to go examine the body, which she had died in the winter, so they
Was
hadn't.
she just starving?
They hadn't buried it because the ground was too hard. They couldn't get the ground, so her body is in the casket in this shed. They open the casket. She hasn't decayed because it's fucking cold outside, but nobody even the doctor was like, she's a vampire.
That gives whole new meaning to the term she shed.
Yeah.
That was her she shed out there.
leave her alone. It was very interesting because there was, like, I think her mother had also died by that point, and her sister, and her brother had consumption, and they basically sent him to a warmer climate for a while, and he got better, and then he came back and he got sick again, And instead of being like, oh, it's the climate, they were like, obviously the vampires.
They were just waiting.
They were just waiting. And so, like, they, to cure him, they took the heart out of the body and burned it and then made a tonic out of the ashes, and he drank it.
Oh,
Spoiler alert, he didn't get better. I mean, I laugh. It's not funny because it's somebody's life, but
No.
oh no!
If they've been dead 100 years, we can laugh.
I can tell you so many terrible things that we used to use as medical cure-alls and stuff. Like that part of medical history is hilarious and terrifying.
leeches.
Mercury doesn't fix crap, guys.
No,
Stop it.
Mercury doesn't fix things. You want to keep your blood in your body, keep the leeches off you.
Oh yeah, leeches. Okay.
Oh.
Okay, can I change my monster to leeches?
Sure. They are also terrible. It's terrifying. Mini vampire bloodsuckers.
Oh, or leeches or ticks. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Either one. Anything that sucks your blood, or mosquitoes. Honestly, like, I'm here in Florida. Right now. And
I
everyone
promise I'm
knows
far
what's
more terrified of the ticks than anything else of the three.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do not want. But yeah, no, it's just they always came across me as a very powerful creature, and yeah, I dig it. I liked it, and also I know Morticia Adams isn't really a vampire, but in my head she always got crossed with vampire.
I mean, that
Also,
is...
I think I mixed her as a kid with Elvira, and
Oh yeah.
and like
Elvira.
all the other like classic lady monsters,
Mhm.
like Ellie from the Munsters. Like
Oh,
I
yeah.
mixed them all together in my head at one point. I
That is
swear.
that is the aesthetic, though.
Oh yeah, like totally. My goth girl phase started when I was like 10, watching those things. I'm like, I want to be like that.
Have you gals watched What We Do in the Shadows?
Yes,
Mhm.
it is so good.
we
It is.
are werewolves, not swearwolves.
Ah. Yeah, and then like I still love vampires to this day. Thank you, Vampire the Masquerade, for many different LARPs that I have done. And yeah, I guess that kind of wraps me up with vampires. Unless you want me to tell you about my character. That's heavy breathing.
It was.
That's all it was. It was just me trying to go uber nerd for a moment.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah, no, if we're speaking about role-playing games, then you can tell what mine is because I have played in far more werewolf games than I have vampire games. I've played in exactly one vampire game, and I've played in multiple werewolf games. I don't know, like, I like wolves in general, and I've always kind of liked the not the thought of it, because that's not a good way to put that. But I find them interesting, because it's similar in the vein of vampires, where you can have this kind of dichotomy of, you know, your human side versus beast side, and trying to like fight that. And I find that to be just kind of a very interesting dynamic. I really liked the TV show Teen Wolf, and it, you know, the movie, it was campy, and it was supposed to be campy, but they actually,
Yes.
yeah, but they
Early
made
crush.
but they made but they made a TV series about it that was a little bit more serious. It had its funny moments, but it definitely was leaning into the darker side of things. And then it went off the rails in like season 4, so the first 2 seasons, part of season 3 are pretty good, but the rest of it is meh. And I find them very interesting. We actually have a werewolf story from Georgia. I am from, Georgia. Also, again, I am wearing my glow-in-the-dark contact lenses.
So amazing.
Ow.
Ah, woo. But we have our own like werewolf legend in Georgia. So down in, let me see, I have the whole story. Just
I know
Story
Georgia pretty, I know
um,
Georgia pretty well, so I'm very interested in hearing.
I am
this-
too.
This is the legend of the Georgia werewolf Emily Isabella Burt. Mrs. Burt was a resident of Talbot County, a rural county in southwest Georgia between Macon and Columbus, which I know very well because I went to Columbus State University.
I used to drive through Georgia a lot.
They had, what was it, they had 4 children, Sarah, Mildred, Emily, and Joel. Mrs. Burt, her mother, was widowed by the age of 37 and inherited a nice estate from her deceased husband. Let's see. I'll just read it from here because they wrote it very well. Ahem. Of all of her children, it appears that Emily Isabella was the one with the most problems. For one, she had inherited a lot of physical traits from her father, including dark hair and bushy eyebrows. However, she was said to have had sharp white canine teeth that made her smile quite disturbing. In one report, Roberts claimed that Emily Isabella's mother took her to a local dentist to see if the teeth could be altered in any way. He could do nothing for her. Soon afterwards, she fell ill and suffered from restless nights. The only thing that seemed to allay those sleepless nights was an elixir that contained opium, which is great.
Well, that'll do it.
That'll do it. Nevertheless, the elixir was not foolproof, and some nights Emily Isabella roamed the countryside. In addition to these strange issues, Emily Isabella had a fondness for reading, and her subject of choice was the supernatural. Imagine! Given the fact that part of her mother's inheritance upon the death of her father was a vast collection of books, this affinity for reading was quite convenient. Even her mother was fond of this reading habit, as it was a way to keep an eye on Emily Isabella as she stayed home and read in the family library. Reading habit.
I'm just stuck on reading habit.
Yeah,
there.
no, it's great. Legend has it that the beau of one of Emily Isabella's sisters, a William Gorman, reported to the Burts that something was killing his sheep. Fearful that this may soon be happening to her animals, Mrs. Burt became quite concerned. On ensuing visits, Gorman would recount stories about more sheep killings and that some of his cattle were killed as well. He was concerned about the killings and decided to take action. He reported he was going to be putting together what amounted to a posse. Their intentions were to shoot and kill whatever beast was doing the damage. Emily was unusually interested in what was going on and what events had transgressed in the hunt for this animal. On the night of the big hunt, Mrs. Burt, who had also inherited more than a few guns and was a great markswoman, went out with her pistol. She apparently suspected that Emily was somehow involved with the killings, and she wanted to be prepared. As she was near the area, an animal lunged for her and she fired. It ran away. Interestingly enough, the next morning it was reported that Emily was missing her left hand. After being taken to a local physician, her mother decided to send her to Paris to be treated by a doctor who specialized in lycanthropy, a disorder that made its victims think they were werewolves.
What the hell?
A doctor that specializes
In lycanthropy! Here we go. When she was in Paris, the attacks stopped, and once she returned, supposedly cured, the attacks fell to a minimum. Emily remained in Talbot County until her death in 1911. She was 70 years old and is buried in the Owens and Holmes Cemetery near Woodland. Her story has endured, but not everyone is convinced that this legend is true.
Whoa.
Maybe she just had wolf friends.
Maybe.
I'm just saying.
I feel really bad now because I don't remember. Did you say what exactly what year was this?
It
Or
was...
time period? Or
Well, it was before 1911, because that's when she died.
okay, but after the Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, Georgia.
Oh, Georgia.
Stay weird?
Mm-hmm.
The
I
great-
don't know.
I just, it's... what amuses it's interesting, also kind of horrifying, but what amuses me is that they're like, yeah, her mother went out with a pistol, something attacked her, she shot it, and the next morning her daughter was missing her hand. A hand.
I just like, she didn't bleed out through the night or anything, you know. It was fine.
She was fine.
Oh, what happened? Oh, my hand. Oh,
I don't know. I just fell asleep and it just fell off.
I woke up and now there's a cat instead of a hand.
Yeah.
Speaking of cats, hi Morpheus.
Oh, well, kitty.
Okay.
That's a great name for a cat.
Mm-hmm.
A big black baby who wants
I'm-
all the attention.
So envious of you guys for having cats. You don't even know. Like, I want a cat back in my life so bad, and I can't do it until I get out of corn. That was a fantastic story.
So that is the legend of the Georgia werewolf.
I never knew that we had our own werewolf
Yeah,
story.
That kind of sounds like a song title, like The Werewolf Down in Georgia.
The werewolf down in Georgia instead of the devil. Yeah.
Yep. Or instead of the midnight train.
Mm-hmm.
Going on the midnight train to Georgia. No, no.
Beware of the werewolves missing their left hand. It's there's a lot of lore that goes with werewolves, and another kind of fun tidbit is the gentleman that does Unobscured does a weekly or a bi-weekly podcast called Lore that I love, and I've mentioned it before on the show.
Oh, the same.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Same guy.
I've definitely listened to Lore many.
Yeah. He just did an episode on werewolves, and the end story that he told in this one was so there was this guy I think it was in France back in like the witch trials, like the witch scare in the 1600s, and he was accused, they had him arrested, they brought him in, they thought they were gonna force a confession out of him, but he gamed the system, and instead of confessing to be a witch, he confessed to be a werewolf. He was one of God's werewolves that was part of this pack that they transformed once a year to go stand against the devil and his witches, and the guys couldn't, the prosecutors couldn't do anything because there's nothing in the Bible that says werewolves are bad.
Well, there you go.
So I was like, you are my favorite person now. Because it was just like, he knew what was, like,
As long as it's okay with the Bible.
Yeah, well, he knew what would happen. Like, all this had happened so many times of where someone was brought in, they were accused, they wouldn't confess, they would be tortured, they would get a confession, and they'd be killed. And this guy was like, nope, totally a werewolf. Can't do nothing to me. I'm a good werewolf, but I'm retired now. That was another thing. He said he had been a werewolf, but he retired.
I put in my 2 weeks notice.
Put in my 2 weeks notice for werewolfing. I'm done.
Sorry
wolfing.
guys, I can't join you at the next full moon.
Oh, sorry guys.
Can't.
I'll give you like a 2 weeks notice.
Yeah. I'm too old to be wolfing.
You're too old. Oh god, if you need a show title, it should be I'm too old to be wolfing.
I'm too old to be wolfing. That's probably, yeah. Oh.
Note that one. Yep, but it's really cool that like all of these like where they come from, like the first reports are like from 15th century, 14th century, and they all still endure. Like in popular culture, we still have like Charmed, Buffy, Angel, Teen Wolf, like
Yeah.
all these things are still here. Like we still go back to them.
Well, they super endure, and there's a couple of podcasts I listen to, and one of them is called Mythical Monsters. I have a theme, guys. I like lore and legends and supernatural shenanigans from the past. And they go into like why certain legends have persisted. And it's the thing with like why witches have persisted is, it's easy to blame someone for your problems.
Yeah.
So, it's not my fault that the crops have failed. Obviously, it's old Sarah down the road who's put a spell on us. Or
Because she knows what herbs can be used to
she-
cure your wounds.
Yeah. And then the thing with, werewolves is that I think it's that kind of dichotomy that people remember. It's very compelling to be like, well, would you fall to your beastly side? Would you remain, human? Because there are a lot of different like werewolf lore around it, and one of them is like, some guy gets turned into a werewolf, and the only way he gets turned back is, his true love says his name, and he turns back into a man. Those kinds of things are the ones that persist. And with vampires, it's easy because they have shifted from this kind of horrible, like, fear of, the living dead to look how pretty and powerful they are. Look how powerful they are.
We've gone from Nosferatu to Dracula.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like that teen movie Twilight, like the fact that like this girl just so falls in love with this guy, and she's like, make me a vampire too.
I want to sparkle as well.
It's a little bit of power fantasy because of the way that they've kind of shifted over the years. And also a lot of the writers and such that have made books or movies or things have kind of shifted our perspective to the monsters may not just be terrible monsters. They might have their own character arcs, their own stories. There are things that you can, relate to.
Right.
Yeah, and it's all public domain as well.
Yeah.
Which makes it great for people to make stories out of.
Oh, I love the public domain. And don't get me started.
But yeah, I told my husband the story about the guy who was like, "Nah, I'm totally a werewolf," and he was like, "Where's that movie? Someone make that movie."
I don't need a new The Craft. I want that movie.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Confessions of a Werewolf. Give me.
But I know.
Was there a sequel to The Craft?
They're doing a reboot of it.
Oh.
That's supposed to come out soon.
Reboot / sequel, because they actually show a picture of one of the girls from the original movie.
No.
Is it Nancy? It better be Nancy.
It's the crazy one.
That's Nancy!
Okay.
She's the best / worst part of the movie. She's the best, but like if you were in the movie, like that was your life, you do not want a Nancy.
I totally need to look this up. I want to know, like, unless you guys already know offhand what year The Craft came out. I think it was like the mid
96 or 97.
It was the mid 90s, and I know this because they that animated series, the animated version of
1996.
Yes. The reboot reboot animated series of like the X-Men, like the ones where they were like teenagers, like going to high school.
Yeah.
They ripped off like the scene from The Craft where the girls are walking through the halls. They used that in one of their episodes. I was like, really? All right.
Dude, I love that movie. Like that movie was super important to me as a teenager.
A suggestion for your podcast: like you could do a whole episode where you just analyze The Craft. I think that would be great. I think that'd be perfect for this
I could
show.
definitely do that.
We'll each pick a movie. Yeah. We'll each pick a movie and then we'll just go through and analyze it. It'll be
like book club, but movie club.
Movie club.
Right, 'cause books are hard. Because women don't read.
we have reading habits.
Yes, dangerous reading habits. We get weird ideas about equality and
I love you guys so much.
So, if y'all have your own favorite monsters and you want to tell us, you can chime in by emailing us at geekgrills@gmail.com, or you can tweet us at geekgrills. So, what are you most anticipating coming up this week? Ray?
Yeah, so I've got Acquisitions Incorporated D&D, run by my husband, Simulacra Studios, this Wednesday, so I'm super excited about that. And maybe delivering the rest of the awesome mugs that I got to the players, because I was able to give Matt his, but I still have
Yes.
2 other awesome 3D printed mugs that I commissioned
So she's
for
going
my
off screen to grab.
fellow players. Well, I have to show how badass they are.
Yeah. Also, thank you for the plant.
Yes. I'm sorry it's not as full as it was since my kaiju of a cat decided to wreck it. Monster. No, but like this is an awesome wizard cup
It's so cute.
that was 3D printed by my friend Jessica. Warlock cup, scary eye, all in gothy red, and then for me, a nice shiny paladin.
The shiny paladin coat.
Whoa, that's awesome.
And then my husband's he's got the 4th one. It's all gold and it looks like a decanter. Like it's very pretty.
Because he's the cleric. And then our anniversary is on Halloween, so I'm looking forward to that. I believe that I am going to call to the Red Lobster up the road and demand to raid Cheddar Bay, so we can pick it up and come back home and safely eat Red Lobster. Since we all really want to go out, that seems kind of still a terrible idea. So we'll just go order some Red Lobster.
Raid Cheddar Bay.
Cheddar Bay.
Oh, the Cheddar Bay biscuit. Oh, don't
The
get-
best.
What about
I
you?
honestly, I have been thinking about like restaurants too for the longest time. I can't tell you the last time I was in a restaurant. I know it was it definitely like December, I think, or even earlier. And yeah, I've actually thought about Red Lobster because there's one nearby, and I want some seafood. Like, because I don't necessarily eat meat, but.
So what are you most anticipating this week?
Oh, me?
Uh-huh.
I am anticipating the end of all of these spam text messages I'm getting on my phone, reminding me to vote and telling me who to vote for and did I vote for this, it's awful. It's like, I get like 7 of them a day. And they usually wake me up, and I think that's why my sleep schedule is so screwed up, is that they start early in the morning and then they go all day long, and I'm like, I was up all night playing Among Us. Like, leave me alone. That is what I'm most anticipating, because in 8 days there's going to be no reason for anyone to send you a message to remind you to vote for anyone. I'm just glad it's going to be over. But more than that, to not make it like political or what that's not political, but yeah, I'm definitely like working on setting up this crafting station and finally getting going for the first time since I've been here in quarantine on working on these video projects that I've wanted to work on for so long. But this whole mess of COVID and everything has like definitely held me back. So I'm really excited to, I don't know, get back to normal.
Yeah.
What about you, Linda?
Well, we actually are having a dress up at work thing on Friday. We're doing a potluck, and
I'm so jealous.
we did this last year where the person who had the most votes for their costume got a little gift card. So I will be incorporating the glowing contact lenses. I'm going to be doing all my dragon makeup and wearing my stuff. So I have to have a 2-stage costume though, because I have to work the first half of the day. which involves a lot of walking around and doing stuff. And so I'm going to have like the overlayers and such ready to go when we have our potluck. But the underlayers, I'll be wearing the bustier and such under just as outer layers during my workday, and go upstairs, be like, "Hey doctors, how you doing?" Have the scales going up my face. What's going on? I already warned.
Make some of the solution. No,
I already warned one of the doctors. She was like, "Oh, are you dressing up?" I was like, "Yeah, my costume's a little extra." And she was like, "Really?" And I was like, "You'll see. You'll see." So that'll be fun.
Photos, please.
I'll try.
Yes.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because I have to wear my mask too for part of the day. Like, I'm gonna like take it off very momentarily to like show off like the black lipstick and such, but the rest of the day it's just gonna be like black mask with all of my makeup up here.
I actually watched something earlier, like on the news, and I'm not even sure what it was in reference to. I just saw it passing, but yeah, there were these like group of people like creating like unique like masks for people, and yeah, we should all get on that and like make some amazing, wonderful costume masks that we can wear around. I mean, if we have to have one on, like let's.
Well, I did toy with the idea. I have a black mask it's just a black mask, and I toyed with the idea of taking some white paint and painting some like teeth on it to be like the sharp pointy teeth. But we'll see. We'll see.
Perfect.
So, remember, folks, you can always come watch us record live at twitch.tv/geekgrills on most Monday evenings. The next one will be on November 9th at 5 p.m. PST, 8 p.m. EST, because we have our production meeting next week, which helps us come up with ideas to entertain y'all.
And in addition to the subs and bits that we get on Twitch, we are supported by our amazing patrons. You're the greatest girlfriends on the internet. You can become a patron at www.patreon.com/grills. Also, don't forget, if you have Amazon Prime, you can sub to us for free every month on Twitch.
Yes, and another way to show your support is by leaving us a review. You can do so on any of your podcast catchers. Leaving a review is free, and they help our ranking, which helps other people find our podcast. Also, you can join our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter if you'd like to help spread the word. And where can we find y'all on the interwebs?
All right. Well, you can find me on Instagram under DappleDame. And on Twitch as Ray Ino. I have a video there now. You can watch me play Monster Prom. I do stupid voices. All right, what about you, Jackie?
Oh, you can, let's see. No, I would say most, currently, which should happen is twitch.tv/Jackie Hearn, because I will be messing around with Play-Doh and getting very angry with the Play-Doh, so that could be fun to watch that. Or JackieHearn.com. But also, I'm trying right now to gift sub, because everybody should go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I'm gonna do it myself. I'm gonna gift one.
Aw, thanks.
Yes.
While I work on that, what about you, Linda?
Well, you can find me on Twitch and Instagram under the name madcap_misc. That's MISC. And you can check out my store website at madcapm.com. Ember can be reached at 9 of 12 on Twitter and Twitch, and she will be coming back to the Heresy and Hearsay. I messed that up. I'm so sorry, Ember. The Heresy and Hearsay podcast. You can find the Jen at The Jen Says on Twitter, streaming on twitch.tv/TheJenPlays, and you can find everything that she does at thejensays.com because she still owns it. And I did forget, Extra Life is coming up, I believe on the 7th. I will be streaming, so...
Do you want a buddy?
Maybe. I'm not streaming for all the 24 hours. I'm too old.
Okay.
I'm too old to be wolfing.
Well, I had that whole weekend, like that Friday and that Monday off because I knew it was Extra Life. So I was like, oh, I should see if I can find somebody to do this with because I don't want to do 24 hours alone.
Yeah, we'll come up with something.
We'll talk.
So look for us then. Thanks for listening, everyone. Good game.
Good game.
GG.
Have a good night.
Thanks for having me on.
Yes.
Welcome. All right. And we are done. Bye-bye.